guys, today I have a bag of goodies from Hard Candy. Some of these I purchased myself and then others were sent to me from the brand. We're going to be doing some demos and first impressions showing you what is new. I have their new foundation mixing drops, their new holographic highlighter, some like metal eyeshadows that you get like a little dropper to mix it all together, color correctors, baking powders, so let's go ahead and get started. I began with the Hard Candy Glamoflauge Mix-In Pigment Drops. These are very in line with everything that's happening right now in the world of drop application. These are very messy, however, you'll see in my application that I like spray it everywhere and got accosted by them a little bit. The hole is very big along the top, so the point of a dropper is almost lost because when you pull the dropper off, it's like just covered in product. I'm wearing these in the shade Deep Number 2, which I think is the second to deepest. There's 10 shades in the range, and believe it or not, you get 0.5 fluid ounces of product in here. In your average foundation, you get a full fluid ounce, so this is only half the size of your average foundation, which I think is crazy. It's about $7 to $10 depending on where you pick it up. Hard Candy is available exclusively at Walmart, and they are a cruelty-free brand, which is always nice. I ended up mixing it in with the Shear Pore Defense Primer Serum. It's oil-free, silicone-free, and alcohol-free. So if you're looking for a primer that is for pores and that doesn't have oil in there, it doesn't have that really silicone-y feeling, this is a really nice option. I wouldn't say that it like completely blurs out everything on my face, but I do really like this and it's super affordable. And I also did review the Hard Candy Glamoflauge foundation about 2 years ago. I'll link to it down below. It's quite an old video. If you'd like to see like a redo on this, let me know. And if you'd like to see an oily skin diaries on this, let me know. And let me know if you'd like to see it mixed in with like a moisturizer, a primer, how you would like to see it in action. But I do really like this. Even before I set my face, I felt like it was matte. It was a good color match. I don't think that it's like so pigmented that you're going to be able to get crazy coverage out of it. I did have to work a little bit to blend it, but I do like it. It felt really natural on the skin, really lightweight, and I do like that you can kind of put on a couple drops and do a really light thing, mix it in with a foundation, mix it in with a primer, a moisturizer, whatever. I think that it is quite good. I would like to see a bit of an extension on the shade range, but they did just add a deeper shade to the Glamoflauge line, which I always appreciate. Kudos to them for expanding their shade ranges. But yeah, let me know if you'd like to see any oily skin diaries action on these guys. Another primer that I wanted to mention that isn't super new to their line, a little bit newer, didn't end up using it today. It is the Shear Hydra Primer Lotion. This is a 12-hour moisture, 3-in-1 moisturizes, primes, and perfects. And as someone with oily skin, I generally don't reach for hydrating primers, but I really like this. The texture on it, it does have a little bit of silicone in it, so it is going to give you that kind of silicone-y feel. It almost is like a silicone gel hybrid, feels a little bit cooling on the skin. So if you have combination skin, even if you have oily skin, I think you may like this, especially right now when the weather is changing a lot and sometimes your skin is dry, sometimes it's oily. I do quite like this, and it doesn't by any means feel oily or greasy or overhydrating on the skin. The combination of two very popular trends right now is a cushion corrector. This is the Sheer Color Correct Cushion Wonder. This one is in the shade Peach, which I would definitely say is quite a light peach. If you have a lighter skin, I think that this is going to be better suited to you. I would love to see a richer salmony orange shade in there for deeper skin tones. You do get a ton of product in here. It's quite a big concealer. It's 0.5 fluid ounces, so the same size as the Mix-In Pigment Drop. So if you do end up liking this, there's tons of product in here. Retails for about $6 to $8. I like the applicator on here. It's got a nice kind of like fluffy cushion there, which I don't find unhygienic. It doesn't really bother me. I use this under my eyes and around my mouth where I have just a little bit of darkness, but because it just doesn't have the depth in it that I need for my skin tone, I don't really feel like it did a whole ton of color correcting. Maybe a little bit of brightening, but if you have a lighter skin tone, this will work better for you. They also have a yellow, which I think I would prefer on my skin just for brightening sake, a green along with a purple depending on your color correcting needs. So I would like to see, and I feel like this happens a lot with color correctors, that they're just far too pastel to work for a variety of skin tones. So if you're going to come out with like the pastel-y ones, then like do a little bit of a bumped up deeper one, at least for like the oranges and the yellows, to cater to more skin tones. So that being said, I feel like Hard Candy does do a pretty good job of releasing a product, seeing how it does, and then releasing a few more after that. You see that with a lot of their lines. So I do like this, but just for my skin tone, it's not a great match. After I applied a more skin tone concealer under my eyes, I went in with this guy. It is the Sheer Bake, Brighten, and Set Loose Finishing Powder. And this is a product that I think would definitely work for deeper skin tones. If you have very fair skin, I think it may have a little bit too much warmth and yellowness in there. It is pretty translucent, but definitely you can see in the close-up, and you can see when I apply it on my skin, it is quite yellow, which I definitely prefer on my skin. You get 18 grams of product in here, retails for about $6 to $8. I'm looking it up on the Walmart.com website, which is the USA site. So I'm just adding on like $2 for what I assume it will cost in Canada. But I think that this is really nice. I love that the color is a little bit deeper. If you struggle to find like kind of a banana shade, they do call this banana, then this might be a good one if you have a deeper skin tone. I use this to bake under my eyes, and I used another powder to set my face, but I definitely want to give this a go. Setting my entire face with it because I did really like the effect. It feels quite finely milled, no shimmer in here, no glitter, and I think it is a really nice option for a drugstore deeper yellow powder. Before I set the rest of my face, I decided to go on to the eyes. I ended up using just a paint pot to prime my lids because I do have oily eyelids, and there's no point in me using eyeshadow without a primer. But this comes with 4 different shades in here. They're all baked shadows. So you get a silver, a really nice yellow gold, and then kind of like a satiny brown and a more bronzy brown. Anyways, the way that I used this is I dipped my brush in the mixing liquid in the pot and then just swiped it on the actual eyeshadow itself. And I felt like it gave a gorgeous look, very high in pigment. And I had also just run my bronzer through my crease because there is no matte shade in here. So I put the gold shade all over my lid. Then without using the mixing medium, I went in with the more satiny brown shade, ran that through my crease. I thought it had good pigmentation with a fluffy brush, even though I hadn't used the mixing medium. And then just to test it out, I put the gold shade just on my lid with no mixing medium, and it really didn't have any impact. I do really like this for like $8 or $10. I think it's a good deal. My only issue is that it's just kind of bulky because the shadows just sit here in this weird kind of like cheap plastic pan, and then you'll keep it all in there. So, I mean, it makes sense because there are a couple moving parts, but it does just feel quite bulky. Moving on to eyeliner, I used this guy. It is the Stroke of Gorgeous Kajal Supreme Eyeliner Duo. And I don't know why, but when I saw this, I was like, a pink eyeliner? That's so cool. Like, how am I going to incorporate it into this look? And then I opened it up and I was like, no, it's black. Like, why would you think it is a hot pink liner? I don't know. Anyways, you get a kajal side here, which kind of rolls up, and then on the other side you get kind of like a thicker marker. And I like this. I thought that the marker itself was really, really black. It went on really nicely. I don't feel like it has too much sheen to it. It is a little bit thicker than I personally would prefer, just because I am an absolute amateur when it comes to eyeliner, but I do like it. And I also really liked the kohl side. I felt like this glid onto my waterline beautifully. I didn't have to pull down my lower lash line or anything like that. I just kind of went and ran it in there, and it just went on so nicely. So I'm really happy with this so far. I can't really speak to the wear time, but this is like $5-7, and if you do find yourself reaching for a marker eyeliner and a kajal eyeliner, it's nice to have them both together. To set my face, even though it was quite matte, I still wanted to give this powder a go. It is the Sheer Envy Color Correct Perfecting Powder. So this has kind of like a woven texture in there. You're getting yellow, primarily yellow, purple, and green, and then you've got a little peek through of orange in there. I really did like this. I feel like it was quite mattifying, but that being said, it does have a bit of color to it, and I don't feel like it has color to it in the sense that it's color correcting, but just with my warmer, deeper skin tone, I felt like it kind of washed me out slightly because the drops were quite warm. I felt like they were a good match for my skin right now when I have a bit of a tan. And then when I put this on, it just kind of washed that out a little bit. So if you have a deeper skin tone, it's something you're going to want to go in with a very light hand. I did use a little bit of a denser powder brush. That could be my mistake. Maybe I need to use something a little bit fluffier, just go through the T-zone perhaps. But I do feel like it is definitely mattifying. As for color correcting, I think I've mentioned this before, but the point of color correcting is that there is a color that then in turn kind of eliminates another color that you're looking to get rid of on your face. But when you have shades like this that are so fair, there's really no color to them, so I don't really see how they can actually color correct. But in the way of a mattifying setting powder, I did enjoy it, but just something I'm going to need to use with a light hand. On to one of the products I was the most excited to try. It is their brand new Prismatic Highlighter. And again, Hard Candy is doing a really good job keeping up with all the trends because they are super in right now. I was interested to try this one because it has a little bit of purple in it, and I've really struggled with any kind of holographic highlighters because I have such a warm yellow skin tone that these like greeny, bluey, even purples are just so dicey on my skin tone, and I don't think they look good. I'm like, where's the yellow and the orange and the hot pink duochrome highlighters? Like, I need that in my life. But I was like, let me try this one out. It's super affordable, like $6 to $8. Comes in a great package. I love it. It looks so good, and they've actually done a really good job with a lot of their packaging. But this was a bit of a dud. I tried it a few different ways. I went in with my General Morphe highlighting brush. It didn't show up a ton on my skin. It definitely has a very powdery, chalky consistency. You can even see it in the pan. It's already starting to look a little bit bumpy, and there are a little bit of tiny little kind of purpley iridescent glitters in there. Then after going in with that brush, I sprayed it with a priming spray and tried it that way. It amps it up a little bit. Then I went in and used a denser brush, kind of, and then I soaked my highlighting brush, and it basically just turned into a cream highlight. Kind of tried to put it on my face without displacing any powder or foundation. That is where I got the most impact. I mean, I'm wearing it right now. You tell me. For me personally, this is not something I see myself reaching for on account of the texture and the color. It's just not gonna work for my skin tone personally. Lastly, I have two lip products to chat about. The first is this duo here. It is one of their Lip Artiste lip contouring wands. This one is in the shade Coral Peach. There's a few other shades of this, and it is about, how much is this? $8? $7 to like $8, $9. So you get a lip liner in here, which I was able to color my entire lip in with. It felt comfortable, quite matte, but didn't feel super dry, didn't drag when I was applying it, and I really do love the color. Those kind of like corally reds are something that I don't often reach for, but then when I'm wearing it, I'm like, ooh, that's really nice. So then I went in with the highlight, which I was expecting to be a little bit more like a gloss, a little bit of like a shimmery top coat, but this is quite thick. You only need a tiny little bit. When I put this on, I was like, oh, and I had to like blot it off. I did like the effect, and I liked the way it looked kind of from afar, but then when I looked close up, it almost looked like it was like breaking apart on my lips a little bit, and there is definitely a little bit of glitter in here. Not so much that I really noticed even when it was on my lips, but when I was wiping it away, my lips felt instantly drier, and I was left with a little bit of shimmer on my lips. So this, for me, I did really like the lip liner. I would like them to release it in a single, but the top coat in it was just a little bit too gooey. Lastly is the Wet Ever, which I think is a super funny name, Bold Hold Lip Lacquers. Lip lacquers are in. It's the new thing of 2016. I've seen so many of them, and I like it. I've really been enjoying revisiting a glossy lip, and these are so full of color. The one I'm wearing here is in the shade Devious. It comes in that kind of like lipstick coffin, as I like to call it, which I think is super cool. Packaging is gorgeous, and the packaging itself here is really nice. Kind of looks like the new Makeup Geek liquid lipsticks, and it has like a little drip down the side. I do feel like the lipstick coffin is a little bit excessive unless you're going to reuse it. I know for me, I will not reuse it, but I would be just totally happy to see it come in this packaging here. It retails for about $5 to $7. There are 6 different shades of these, and I really like this red one, but I would love to try. They've got some more nude shades, which I really love, in a glossy lip. Something like this, I would definitely need to pair with a lip liner. You may want to blot it down, or just be careful because it can have the tendency to bleed. I mean, I've only had it on for a little while, but you can kind of just tell. Doesn't feel particularly sticky. It's got a little bit of stick, but to me that just means longevity. And it really has no scent at all, which is surprising to me. I was expecting it to be like really fruity or really vanilla-y. But I do really enjoy these. They've also got the matte liquid metallic lips, which are great. Any of those like lipstick, coffin lipsticks, I really do like. So those are some new products from Hard Candy. I hope you enjoyed this little demo and mini first impressions kind of review. Let me know if you'd like to see an Oily Skin Diaries on the foundation drops or anything else on any of these products. And also let me know what your favorite products are from Hard Candy. I've dabbled in the brand a good bit, but now that I don't live close to a Walmart, I don't have as much time to play with it. But I do really love a lot of their products, and they're quite affordable in comparison to a lot of the things at the drugstore nowadays. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Samantha Jane YT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!